Well, hello, good evening, and welcome. Waiting for the feedback and waiting for the noise that we normally get with the Zoom. So, welcome. Abby's in London. I'm not. Welcome to the second of these monthly quizzes, and thank you for those joining us tonight from all over the world. So, as I mentioned last time, those of you who weren't here, we're now part of the project NGAP about engaging the next generation of aviation professionals and attracting people. So, fun. Maybe occasionally educational, maybe educational in terms of some of the mistakes that are made, but anyway, all fun hopefully. So welcome to all of you, and hopefully we've got the sound levels right without feedback tonight.
Now.
Oh, Abby's echoing.
Sorry.
I'll have to mute Abby. I've always wanted to do that. So welcome to this quiz. It wasn't the iconic aircraft. Don't worry, there's not all those iconic aircraft rounds to do in the middle. There's only one iconic aircraft round tonight. There was a clue in the lead-in, if you saw it, and there's an iconic aircraft video, small one, just in the before we go into that round in the middle. And before then, we have the rules. We have to go through the rules. So. The quiz is published still on so we're up to 17 quizzes. Those of you who haven't seen all of them and feel the need, they're all still there apart from the first two. So welcome to this quiz. It is for fun. I'm not sure there are many bonus points, so Abby might have to award some bonus points if you feel the need. And I'm more often wrong than right, but hopefully I'll be right more than wrong tonight. So photos and videos credits, thank you James, thank you Wings TV, thank you Big Jet TV, and that will be our standard introductory video at the start, unless of course you spot some of the obvious mistakes, because there are some aircraft that are missing, and you can decide for yourself whether you think any aircraft are missing as well, and also which ones are your favourite iconic aircraft. So without further ado, pens to paper or whatever you have that you're going to write with. And we'll go into round one, general knowledge. So round one, general knowledge. Which military aircraft, already the most popular combat aircraft in the world, has a renewed sales configuration for yet another renewed sales pitch? A bit of a clue, it did feature in the introductory video if you saw that. It's a military aircraft, already the most popular combat aircraft in the world, and has a renewed sales pitch, would you believe? Just shows that there's life in the old dog yet. And it's going on a renewed sales push. Just noticed Abby's got a blue box by her. I don't have that.
Oh,
I don't know why that is.
where I'm meant to be. It's got a halo. I'm just so angelic.
I won't try and fiddle with it now, because I think those of you who were on the quiz last time, we ended up having to move the box around because it wasn't actually. It's the first time we've done this new widescreen format, and it didn't work. So I had to keep moving around the screen, which is always fun. But I think I'm fixed tonight. I'm not planning to move anywhere. Abby's not going to move anywhere from the left. Chalk to board. Oh, at least it's not chiseled to granite. So round one, question one. Round one, question two. A Flying V model demonstrator, Flying Wing, took to the skies last week. Which European airline is throwing the weight behind this aircraft that in fact could, it says, hold over 300 passengers? So a Flying V, it's a model aircraft, a model demonstrator aircraft. Actually backed by a major European aircraft manufacturer, but which a European airline has said that they might fly it. So we've got Colombia tonight, Spain. Welcome to all of you. Not sure we have anyone from the Middle East tonight. We are planning, talking to some colleagues, because there's now an NGAP Canada growing and an NGAP USA, so we're talking about whether we have a combined quiz or 3 separate quizzes or whatever. Oh yeah, chisel and granite next time. That's when the lockdown really bites, you know, when you've actually got to go and carve your own stone and your own chisel to write on. So round one, question 3. Name the airline. Apologies as always to James for butchering one of his photographs, but because this particular aircraft had quite a lot of clues on it, so it needed quite a lot of butchering to get it into reasonably unrecognisable form.
What's so sunny London? Yeah.
Oh, the Middle East of Essex. Yeah, we could
Not
say that.
recognizable,
Sunny
sorry.
Devon. It's not sunny in Devon now, is it, Dave? It's dark, isn't it?
Probably
I
got
know it's always
paint in the sunset.
God's County. It's probably always sunny down there now. So round one, question 3. Round one, question 4. An Indian airline recently started long-haul operations with a flight into Heathrow. So long-haul operations, their first long-haul operations, I believe, anywhere, and they chose Heathrow for their first flight. Which airline was it? Or is it? It was sunny once. Yeah, but if it was sunny all the time, then it wouldn't be green and you wouldn't have cream teas and clotted cream the wrong way around. Round one, question 5. Can you name this aircraft type C? Being a bit easy on you tonight, bearing in mind it was also in the introductory video. Not sure it was this one. Is that Dubai tree? Abby can interpret that.
I don't know.
Ah, I've got it now. Middle East of Essex, as in, right, sorry, a bit slow there on the uptake. Round one, question 6. Which US startup, so a US startup company is headed by former Tesla and SpaceX software engineers. In fact, they've completed more than 50 flights quietly, because I didn't know about it until this week, of a remotely piloted Cessna aircraft, and they're saying that they will have a certified pilotless, sorry Abby, Caravan 208 within as little as 2 years. I assume there's actually a pilot, but the pilot's on the ground, but whether you call that pilotless.
So I've never flown a caravan anyway.
Air China Niner. Is that real, Matthew Senior? Braintree in Essex, Dubai tree in yes. I did get that earlier, thank you. So round one, question 6, which is this company? Round one, question 7. A cargo airline famously painted a surgical mask on the nose of one of its aircraft to highlight the airline's commitment to the fight against COVID-19. By the way, I hope everyone's safe and well over there in the uncertain times. Which cargo airline is that painted a surgical mask on the nose of its aircraft? Stand back a second.
It's disappeared. It's gone. I have no control here, people. Sorry.
Right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Plenty of time to answer that one, and no excuse for getting that wrong. Round one, question 8. The famous Top Gun clue. Can you complete the quote? Handling lady. Oh, it says handling lady there. Handling lady. Nervous? Ted Stryker. Yes, very. Handling lady. First time? Ted Stryker. Of all the famous quotes. Surely Air China Niner is not one of those air traffic compliant call signs though, Matthew Senior. Surely it has to be more complicated than that.
You'd be surprised. No, I don't think it's Top Gun, it's Airplane, right?
Yeah.
You said Top Gun.
Oh, did I?
I think so. I
Ah,
heard Top Gun.
there is a Top Gun question later. Sorry, Brandon. You know me, getting confused.
Abu Dhabi Squid, that's quite funny.
Round one, question 9. Don't know if you read about this, but in the simulated dogfights against a human F-16 fighter pilot, an artificial intelligence program named Falcon took on a senior fighter pilot and F-16 weapons instructor called Banger. Who won and what was the score after 5 sorties? This was real, apparently. Happened recently in the US, of course. Who won and what was the score after 5 sorties? I can hear a bleeping, is that feedback?
Could be my dishwasher. Unless it's something.
Oh, he's just name dropping because she's got a dishwasher. Round 1, question 10. Which airline retired the world's first general aviation GE Aviation powered Boeing 777 recently?
I wonder.
Which airline could that be?
This one you've got the clock off now.
Can possibly comment. Round 1, question 11. Near Tucson, Arizona, you'll find one of the largest non-government funded aircraft museums in the world. What's it called? Fantastic museum. Recommend anyone to go to it if you haven't.
There's a few dirty ones too from Matt, thankfully.
Oh yes, we did. It's a family show, Matt.
Glasgow? Is it Glasgow or Edinburgh? Which one's a bad one?
I'm not sure anyone can hear you, Abby, actually.
Oh.
Can anyone hear Abby? Say something. Testing 1, 2, 3. Are you reading Abby? Round 1, question 12. In July 2020, according to the CAA airports data, which UK airport was second to London Heathrow in the total number of movements? July 2020 seems like ages ago. Oh, you can hear Abby faintly, that's good. I'll just turn her down a bit then. Only when she sings. Oh, no. Thanks, Dave. No. We don't want Abby singing.
We don't want that.
Round 1, question 13. Which airline is this? Don't think there's any other clues on there. I don't think you can tell from the registration numbers at the top of the tail, letters at the top of the tail. All of these still photos tonight, I believe, are James Mellon specials. Thank you, James, again. There's a few more crept on there, I think, James, that I've managed to get in here tonight. So what's the airline? God, whistling through this. Well, I'm on question 13 already. Tell me if you think I'm going too fast, or in fact too slow, because you just can't wait for it to be finished. Round 1, question 14. What aircraft type is this? A bit easy, really. Particularly if you Google the registration. In fact, I think I've got 3 aircraft photos in a row. How did that happen? And round 1, question 15. What is this? It's a helicopter. Give you a clue. It's red and white. In case some of you viewing in monochrome. Round 1, question 16. So this is the fastest scheduled passenger aircraft in service today, according to the best sources I could find. As in, I'm not sure. There must be at least one in service today, so it's colloquially in service today. I'm sure there was at least one of these flying today. Tell your friends, tell your mates, we need a few more subscribers. We're nearly up to the 100 subscribers, and we're looking to grow this again, to keep it going monthly. We like doing it. Hopefully you like doing it, so we just need a few more followers to get the numbers up, and if we launch a US version and a Canadian version at the same time, then we'll have far more questions as well. So, round 1, question 17. Where is Princess Juliana International Airport? Who is Princess Juliana? That could be another quiz question, but not an aviation one. Where was Princess Juliana born? How old is Princess Juliana? Is she still alive? Round 1, question 18. Name the airline. I think the only clue on there is it says Boeing 737-800. It's definitely a sort of a regular. Is that feedback?
It's a dishwasher.
Thingy, it's your dishwasher. Okay. Abby's mentioned the dishwasher again.
You keep asking about it, I'm going to keep telling you.
Question 19. I should stop doing these questions because I'll probably keep getting them wrong. So, in March 2020, how many different Boeing main types, so not variants of the type, but Boeing main types did KLM operate? That's the second time KLM have featured tonight. And then round 1, question 20. What was the UK Army Air Corps name for the battlefield anti-tank helicopter that came before the Apache? I.e. the colloquial name. That's round 1, question 20. It annoys me that Abby's got the blue thing, so I'm sure I fixed that before the start.
Well,
Technical problems, you see. Wouldn't it be great if we could have a little aircraft that's making its way across the screen and that nice sky? So that's the end of round 1. So hopefully you don't need anyone join late who wanted any of the questions again. Anyone missed any? Anyone fell asleep during any of the questions? Anyone annoyed by Abby's dishwasher in the background?
Stop now.
It has stopped.
Shouldn't be there anymore.
Can anyone hear music? I can't hear music.
Not having a very good day, are we?
End of round 1 then. So are we ready for the round 1 answers? So out of 20, don't think there are any bonus points in there. Round 1, question 1. The F-16, of course, the Fighting Falcon. So already the most popular combat aircraft in the world has now decided that it needs more to be sold, and they've come up with a new version. So it's going to be in the skies for much. I'm just surprised you can use a dishwasher. Yeah, well, luckily it's one of those pretty automatic ones. It's not self-loading, unfortunately.
There goes our friendship, Matt.
I think Abby could do with 2 dishwashers. She could do with one that's she can unload, and then one she can load. In fact, we did have a dishwasher like that once, which was fantastic because you had 2 drawers and you could. Don't know how I got onto this. It's an aviation quiz.
Did we?
Round 1, question 2. KLM are the airline who've said that they are very interested in being the first people to fly this flying wing, flying V, if it takes to the skies in anything but a model form. Round 1, question 3. Lufthansa Regional, of course. You can see there in all its glory without any editing. Round 1, question 4. Vistara is the Indian airline that started in long-haul flights into Heathrow. That must be a Name the Airline question coming up soon, because I'm not sure I could visualize Vistara aircraft. Round 1, question 5. Airbus A350. Name the aircraft type. Seems to be vying for position as the most beautiful aircraft at the moment. Everyone seems to describe it as the most beautiful aircraft. Passenger aircraft. Round 1, question 6. A company called Reliable Robotics. You may not have heard of them, but if they do what they say they're going to do in as little as 2 years, then I'm sure it'll be as household a name as Tesla and SpaceX. Round 1, question 7. Cargo Lux, with the airline that painted the, it's pretty good actually, surgical mask on the nose. If you haven't seen it, it looks very, very good. Round 1, question 8. The Top Gun airplane quote. Ted Stryker. Oh, sorry, Abby's masking the answer on my screen here. Ted Stryker. No, I've been nervous lots of times. Classic line. It's all in the timing. Round 1, question 9. 5-0. The artificial intelligence program won 5-0. So Banger didn't get a look in. Falcon won every single one of the sorties. It was painted in Taiwan. Oh, thank you, James. It's quite a well-fitting mask, isn't it? It doesn't seem to slip like lots of people, particularly on Formula One programs, where they can't notice that the mask has slipped onto their neck when they're supposed to be covering their nose and mouth. Round 1, question 10. British Airways, of course, the Zulu Charlie, the first inter-service of the GE Aviation 777s, sadly being cut up at the moment. That was been retired. Round 1, question 11. Pima Air and Space Museum, just near Tucson, Arizona. Got some great aircraft there. Round 1, question 12. Would you believe it? Gloucestershire Airport, second in the country to Heathrow in terms of total number of movements. I'm surprised we haven't seen that on the front page of the newspapers. So Heathrow was 12,211, but 6,473, mostly training flights out of Gloucestershire Airport. Used to be known as Staverton, I think, Gloucestershire Airport. Not sure how many, I wouldn't have got that right, so sympathies if you didn't have a clue, because I didn't have a clue. Obviously I looked it up. Round 1, question 13 is Tunis Air. By the way, I spotted another retro livery this week that I think we should include in the quiz going forward. Somewhere down in South America, Avianca 757. Round 1, question 14, of course, the Embraer 190. Those of you who remember what they look like. 15, the Leonardo, used to be Augusta Westland, used to be Augusta 109. I think that's a new photo, James. I don't remember that one being on there before. The 747-8I is apparently the fastest scheduled passenger aircraft in service today.
Is this still a passenger aircraft?
Yeah, the Intercontinental Lufthansa flight.
That was cargo.
Air China. Princess Juliana Airport is the St. Martin Dutch Antilles. I believe that's the one that has the famous beach that you see most of the arrivals, people being blown away on the beach. Question 18 is Ukraine International, the airline. I'm sure you knew some of it by the registration, which I could have blanked out, of course, but I'd only have butchered another photograph. Air China and Korean, thank you. I think Lufthansa have them, don't they? 19 is, so 4 different main types: 747, 777, 787 and 737. That was in March, of course, how things can change. And then round 1, question 20, the Lynx was the battlefield helicopter before the Apache. Now, of course, the Wildcat. So how many did you get? Post some scores, round 1. Was it easier than before? Is it a month's worth of knowledge that's permeated in, so it seems easier? Or it's a month not doing any quizzes like this? Yeah, it's a shame Avianca 757. It's a nice looking aircraft. So, any scores? Who's willing to post their score for round 1? Out of, I think, 20, I don't think we had any unofficial bonus points. Bonus points for the number of times we talked about Abby's dishwasher.
It's beeping again in case no one wants to know.
8. Jed, thank you for posting that. 12 out of 20, Brandon. 13. Very good. Avianca 757. Bearing in mind that this probably has a bit of an UK orientated, so we should make you an honorary Anglophile. 11, Dave. Good. Good. Headboard cockpit wits 5. James 14. James.
Dave can get a bonus if he sings us a clip of him singing.
We should have a starring spot. Do you think we should have a cabaret slot in the middle of somebody singing something, some aviation song? I'm leaving on a jet plane. No,
Take any song, Dave, just a clip that I can play at the end of the quiz. We'll get a bonus point.
Yeah, you probably need those 9 bonus points to carry you through, Matt. So, round 2. Oh, I'm going to play the... round 2 is the iconic aircraft. So I've just given it away if you saw it. I'm going to play you a nice clip of an iconic aircraft. So we're going to do this in the middle. British passport then, so that we should expect you then. So the iconic aircraft this week. So the iconic aircraft this week, you maybe saw in the early lead-in that it's the 100th anniversary of the formation of the de Havilland Aircraft Company this month, September 1920. We were going to have a civil de Havilland aircraft. Something went wrong with the copywriting of the film I was going to use, so I couldn't use that. So we have the military aircraft, but what better aircraft than the Mosquito? And as Headboard Cockpit Wits said, our uncle Peter's and my uncle and Abby's great uncle flew Mosquitoes in the war. Bit of a handful, apparently. I still haven't started the model. You're right, Abby. Thanks for pointing that out.
Oh,
So 5 questions then about the Mosquito. In fact, any of you who read
sorry.
any of you who read the Wikipedia, there are many stories of the mosquito and various things about it, so that we can actually have a whole quiz on the mosquito itself. And of course, I believe this week they just started cutting the first wood for the mosquito, people's mosquito, that's being built in the UK. I think only about 4 or 5 still flying around the world, mostly in the US, Canada, I believe, maybe Canada was one, but in Australia or New Zealand. Anyway, so when did the aircraft first fly? Nearly didn't fly at all. If you read the story, lots of people tried to kill it off before it was even born. So number one, when did the aircraft first fly? Where was it built and where did it fly from? You might guess from that it wasn't built and flown from the same place. I have a section of the first, or tiny section officially, not torn from, but the prototype on my wall here. How many were built in total to the nearest, should we be generous, 100? What was its nickname? Probably had lots of nicknames, but what was its nickname?
We have a video of Dave singing just to make everyone excited.
Oh, really? Well, we'll play it. I don't know how to play it in a minute. We'll do it in a minute via Zoom if Dave gives us permission. And what aircraft replaced it in the 1950s, would you believe? So it carried on for a while in World War II. It was the fastest aircraft of all in World War II. What aircraft replaced it in RAF service in the 1950s? So those 5 questions. Any of you support People's Mosquito? I think it's Bill Ramsey, who was one of the pilots of the Vulcan, has now put his name behind the People's Mosquito project as well, and I believe Airbus have now put their money behind it as well. So pretty good chance that we will see a flying Mosquito in the UK again. The aircraft in the video there sadly crashed, I think about 15 or so years ago, the Rolls-Royce one, killing a test pilot that I knew. So those are the 5 questions. Anyone need more time? Well, if you do, we can always come back to it towards the end. So let's go on to round 3 and the general knowledge then. We lost the music. How can we not have any music?
It's okay, I could just play Dave's song over and over and over for everyone.
So round 3, general knowledge, with a little bit of background music just to lull you along. So general knowledge, round 3, another 20 questions. We'll do the answers, of course, to round 2 at the end of round 3 as well. So one of NASA's boosters for the most powerful rocket ever built took place last week. What is the boost, or what's the rocket called?
Would you like the video too?
What's its acronym? Various things. If you don't know the name, you can always do the but if your score's 0, Avianca 757, then that means you can only go up. So what's the rocket called, or what's its acronym, or what would you call it? Quite an impressive firing. I'm sure if you live close you would know something had happened. Round 3, question 2. EASA is due to start its recertification flights for which airliner this month in Canada? One of the aviation authorities that's carrying out recertification flights on this airliner aircraft. I believe they've just received a fairly significant new order for the aircraft as well. Round 3, question 3. Which airline is this? I believe they just announced another 21 routes that they're going to start flying in the country that this airline is the home of, or in the country that is the home of this airline. Sorry, James, seems a shame to cut the top off one of your photographs. Really nice photograph, but there were so many clues on it, it was almost impossible to disguise it. Have they started? They probably have then. Round 3, question 4. Somebody said last time they wanted a few more space questions, so we have a few more space questions. Artemis 1 is a planned uncrewed launch planned for November of a vehicle including the SLS, and which crew vehicle? Which is the crew vehicle that goes with the rocket? Hope it wasn't too painful, James, when you lolled. Round 3, question 5. What was de Havilland Canada's first passenger aircraft? I mean, having more than perhaps a co-pilot as a passenger. Probably first one with more than 2 seats, I would say. De Havilland Canada, of course, grew out of the original de Havilland Aircraft Company, so I suppose they could claim it's their 100th birthday as well. Would you believe this day in history I couldn't find many aviation things that happen on September the 10th, but of course tomorrow, fairly unforgettable.
A grim reminder.
So. Round 3, question 6. Which ultra low-cost airline merged into AirTran, which then eventually became part of Southwest Airlines? So like lots of airlines, mergers, etc. Which ultra low-cost airline merged into AirTran and then eventually was merged into Southwest Airlines? I think Transport Canada finished theirs, and then, well, certainly in the story I read, that they were then handing over to EASA to be, I believe, the last one. Round 3, question 7. Top Gun, not airplane. In Top Gun, Kelly McGillis's character is based on a real person, true or false?
Isn't it in Top Gun, if you're actually the actual school, if you mention any of the quotes from the film, you get fined $5 apparently every time?
Oh.
Which would be, in any pilot's case, a nightmare. Useless fact for you.
Thank you. So that's, if I get that fine, so we've had 17 quizzes and it's been at least mentioned once or twice in every one, so. Round 3, question 8. For those of you who were in the previous quiz, the last quiz, we had the trailing edge flaps, but who designed the form of wing leading edge flaps used, for example, on the 747?
Oh, I know that. I think.
I believe they are unique-ish because they hinge down, so they don't. It isn't the leading edge of the flap of the wing moving. It's actually the underside of the wing being extended out. Crude description. I'm sure I wouldn't pass any exams with that description. Round 3, question 9. How many 747s were operated by British Airways? I got myself into trouble. Was it last quiz about the number of 747s operated by Virgin? So this is according to Wikipedia, so I can blame Wikipedia if anyone thinks this is wrong. And we can do it to the nearest 5, maybe. And this is 747, all variants, of course. It doesn't. I'm not looking for any particular variant. So, and these are operated by British Airways, not operated by someone else on behalf of British Airways. Round 3, question 10. Which famous American aviator said, "Sometimes flying feels too godlike to be attained by man. Sometimes the world from above seems too beautiful, too wonderful, too distant for human eyes to see." I do mean every single one ever, James. How many were there in total? To the nearest 5, 10?
At the same time, or ever?
How many have they operated ever? You're supposed to know the answers, Abby. You're on the quiz side.
Well, I still wouldn't know them even if I saw them.
Round 3, question 11. In 2019, which was the busiest airport in Latin America? I think this is according to ACI. But I did check a few sources. I know it doesn't seem obvious sometimes, but I do fact check these as much as I can. Apart from when I don't. Round 3, question 12. Since June 2010, SpaceX Falcon 9 rockets have been launched how many times? So the nearest 10. How many times have the Falcon 9 rockets been launched? It could be a bonus point, but I'm not sure if I actually know the answer categorically as to how many launches failed. Of course, James, I missed the obvious opportunity to say, "Don't call me Roger," or something like that to your comment. Round 3, question 13. What's this UK airport? Sorry, no bonus point for guessing the airline or the aircraft. Or the name of the dispatcher on the ramp in Terminal 3 behind there. Oh, it's got my old office in that photograph.
Yeah, I can't see it yet. Oh yeah, is that where we watched Concord?
Yeah.
Okay. Manchester.
I suppose I could have taken the name the airport, made it much more difficult, but that might have been too difficult then.
Everyone can get a bonus point on me.
So you just give the answer?
Probably. This is why I shouldn't be here.
Round 3, question 14. How many astronauts is the Orion space vehicle designed to carry? I think that's 5 space questions, so anyone who said last time how we need some more space questions, so 5 out of 45. Maybe that's not so many then. If you think there should be more, say so. It'll all merge eventually anyway. Well, 15, 20 years time we won't be talking about the difference between aviation and space. That's my prediction. Round 3, question 15. Name the aircraft type in the foreground. We could have made it really difficult by naming the serial numbers of the trolleys in the background.
Okay, it's fine.
Abby could be wrong though.
Could be wrong.
Could have been a complete red herring. Orang Rouge. Round 3, question 16. What common name for an aircraft vehicle do Sud Aviation and VW share? So that's meant to be aircraft, sorry. Not sure what an aircraft is. What common name for an aircraft or vehicle do Sud Aviation and VW share? Hope you like the French pronunciation there. Bonus point for the French pronunciation, Sud Aviation.
I hope it's right. I don't want to offend someone.
I don't think we have any French speakers on tonight. We have a friend from Switzerland I think speaks French, but he's not on tonight.
No, we.
Round 3, question 17. The Alpha Electro electric trainer aircraft is manufactured by which Bat-like aircraft company? We're doing a bit of work with this company, so you might hear a lot more about this aircraft. I don't actually know if there's any flying in this country. Someone will know. So that's round 3, question 17. 3 more to go. Round 3, question 18. What aircraft type is this in the foreground? doesn't need to be the US designation. I think this is the aircraft type that it's based on, is what I was looking at, although James can probably help me if you come up with the designation of it as well, in terms of the American military designation. Round 3, question 19. What's the nickname, at least the main nickname, for the F-117 stealth fighter? Is it still flying? Is it still around? Quite old now, isn't it? I don't know if it's still flying. Don't worry, James, I don't think it's on there actually. I'll go with that nickname. And then round 3, question 20, the last question on the quiz. Which Middle East airline recently flew into the UAE, United Arab Emirates, crossing Saudi airspace for the first time in a long time? Don't actually know how long it is, but Middle East airline recently flew into the UAE, crossing Saudi airspace for the first time in a long time, in a 737, I believe. That's it. Anyone need any more questions again before we get on to the answers? Time flies when you're enjoying yourself. That's less than an hour. Wow. Have I gone too fast? Tell me if you think I've gone too fast. Tell me, was it Abby's dishwasher that was helping us along in the background?
I'm getting all the answers through my dishwasher phone. It's like Morse code.
What make is Abby's dishwasher? Could be an additional bonus point question.
No.
So anyone need any more time before we go on to the answers? I'll assume not. So Avianca 757 thinks he's going to get 0. Maybe not. So question 1, 1940, the aircraft first flew. Nearly didn't fly at all if you read the story on Wikipedia. It was built in Salisbury Hall and then taken apart and taken down the road to Hatfield, where it took off on the grass runway at Hatfield. Fantastic museum at Salisbury Hall. They have 3 complete mosquitoes there, including the prototype, just near St Albans, if you've not been. I think it's open again now. The De Havilland Aircraft Museum. I have a comment there as well. How many were built? 7,780. What did I say to the nearest? Did I say the nearest 100? Can't remember now, but it's pretty significant aircraft. In fact, 6,500 of them were built in World War II. And some of them built in Australia and all around the world. It's one of its main nicknames, apart from Mozzie, was Wooden Wonder. If you got Mozzie, then that's fine. And the Canberra, so it carried all the way on, and it was eventually replaced with a Canberra. So pretty long, long lead-in aircraft, lead-in change. So anyway, if you didn't get any right, don't worry. Part of this is it's fun, and also there's an iconic aircraft. We can add that one to the list. And so, any other iconic aircraft you think should be in next month's? Suggestions on a postcard, we can always put them in as we go forward. What? Embraer. Is an Embraer iconic aircraft yet? What constitutes an iconic aircraft? Good, we could spend all night talking about that. Round 3 answers. So the SLS, the Space Launch System, was the booster rocket. .737 MAX, of course. Still, I think, called the MAX, hasn't been renamed. JetBlue, the airline, has started or is about to start 21 new routes, and has put back, I think, its transatlantic entry, but is going to be doing transatlantic. Artemis 1, so it has the Orion crew vehicle with the SLS, the answer to the previous one. De Havilland, Canada's first passenger aircraft was the Beaver.
It's alright, Peter, I won't tell her that.
737X. Round 3,
Yeah,
question
that's a
5.
new name for it, isn't it? X.
Round 3, question 6. Value Jet. It's amazing. Everyone talked about Value Jet, and then it became part of AirTran, then it became part of Southwest. Yeah, I did hear rumours, but is it official, James? Avianca 757? Don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Round 3, question 7. It's true. Kelly McGillis' character is based on a real person, actually quite a similar real person, with a similar background. So you can read the story. I think it's in Top Gun trivia, actually, but it is true. So she is based. They weren't going to base it on. Well, it was going to be a fictitious person, but they accidentally found out there was a real person like that. Round 3, question 8. Werner Kruger designed the Kruger flaps. He was it Messerschmitt during World War II? He was German aircraft designer, of course, by the name, but then ended up designing those type of flaps. 7378. Okay.
Oh, I thought it was next.
Round 3, question 9. 101. So according to Wikipedia, 101 747s in total were operated by British Airways. What did we say? Nearest 10? I can't remember what we said in our...
5, you said.
5, well, we can be generous. Round 3, question 10. Charles Lindbergh said that. If you've never read the Charles Lindbergh story about his transatlantic flight, it's pretty epic. What he did and how he survived. Round 3, question 11. Mexico City. I actually thought this was... I had to check this several times because I thought it was Sao Paulo, but for the last few years Mexico City has been the busiest airport in Latin America. Round 3, question 12. 96 Falcon 9 rockets have been launched. I believe 4 launches have failed, so that's not a bad strike rate if you think of the complexity of launching something like that. And of course, it's now become pretty routine to see the boosters landing themselves again, and also this new what is it? What's it called? Starship doing a lateral translation from one pad to the next, or the grain silo, I think it's been called. Round 3, question 3. Surprise, surprise! This is Manchester.
Scotland, isn't it? Manchester.
How many astronauts is the Orion space vehicle designed to carry? 4. That seems to be the new number now, because that's also, I believe, the Falcon 9 Crew Dragon is a 4-passenger vehicle. Round 3, question 15. Lockheed C-130. Is that a C-47 in the background? Don't know what it is. I don't know what the name of the 2 trolleys is either. Or the orange bollard. Caravelle is the common name for an aircraft vehicle, Sur Aviation and VW, Volkswagen. The Caravelle. Pipistrel make the Alpha electric trainer aircraft. The Jetstar, Lockheed Jetstar. I'm not sure what its military designation is. Pretty noisy aircraft. I think there were 4 spays in the back of that, I think. The Nighthawk, the F-117 stealth fighter. And last question of quiz 17. 17, how about that? El Al for the airline. So feel free to post your scores while we talk about the end of the quiz and the Lockheed VC-140B. Thank you. Also known as the Jetstar, but not in that designation because that was the military version. But yeah, so post your scores. Hopefully you found it interesting, educational, fun, not too depressing. If you didn't get it many right, it's always easier for me because I know the answers because I looked them up. So thank you all for joining. We'll just read out some scores. Brandon 26, good score. Not that it's about the score, of course, it's about the taking part. 22 Dave, 25 Avianca 757, Jed 20. Any more? Anyway.
Wait. Okay.
What?
Don't worry.
Did you want to broadcast something, Abby? Did you have a...
I'm asking permission first because I'm being nice.
24 James. Abby wants to get permission from Dave, is it? To broadcast what he sent. 18 head... That's very good, Peter. Did you get any mosquito ones right? So anyway, I didn't realise we were competing with Jay's quiz tonight, so I don't know whether we're trending above Jay tonight in the quiz stakes, but anyway, he has lots of general knowledge questions as opposed to aviation questions. 47, wow, 14, 19, not including bonus points.
Okay.
Are they self-awarded bonus points about the dishwasher?
We need to work out how many bonus points Dave gets for this, ready? I don't even know. Are we ready for this?
Yeah. Can you see Abby's screen?
Fly with me, let's fly away.
Is that now?
About 20 minutes ago.
Was he not? That was Dave.
Yeah.
Were you not doing the quiz then, Dave?
Yeah, Dave.
Surely you were glued to the screen.
I was about 5 or 10 bonus points for that.
Sure you were glued. Should we post it on YouTube live afterwards as well, alongside the video? Then we could. You might get some new fans. Anyway, so thanks very much for for joining in tonight. The next quiz is on the 15th of October. If you can see, it seems to be partly blocking that on the screen. So 15th of October 2020, which it seems like ages away, but probably won't be. So I'll have to try. If you think of anything that you want to have in the quiz, let me know. Please get some more subscribers onto the YouTube channel. We'll keep going as long as anyone wants to do this. We enjoy it, and hopefully you'll be back soon. So if we don't see you before, enjoy the next few weeks. Keep safe, keep well, and we'll see you then. Good night, goodbye.